Hi friends, it has been a hot minute again. So I had technical difficulties that kept going on and I decided I'm just going to create some videos that deal with some of the content that I'm going to be discussing on my podcast until I work the glitches out. So what I wanted to talk about today is seasons, knowing what season of life that you're in, right? And I've been running across this from multiple clients and friends. I'm seeing where they are in life and how it is affecting them when they feel shame, guilt, judgment, whatever, for not being able to do certain things when they're in a certain season. And I would really like to kind of just blow the whole paradigm of what we think we should be doing. Recognize where you are, right? So when you're married with littles or whatever, when you have littles and you're raising children, that's a very specific season. That is not maybe the time to volunteer for a lot of things. One example is like having people over at your house for an event. So we have this group that meets in one of our neighborhoods locally, and it's a ladies' night, and they'll rotate houses. And the ones that come, the moms that come that have the littles, they feel guilty because they're not signing up for the roster because they just don't have the bandwidth and the whatever. And, you know, I said this to one of the ladies, and oddly enough, you never know what's going to reach somebody, but I said, this isn't the season for that. You just enjoy where you are. You come here and receive, and then when things change, then you can be the hostess and you can be in a whole different space. And she came to another event, you know, and said that she never forgot that. She told her husband, and that it has just been such a relief to her. And she's been sharing it with all of her moms, which it's like, praise Jesus, hallelujah. That's what I want, is freedom for just be where you are and not feel guilt. And hopefully the ones who are not in your season are not helping you feel guilty by like, okay, you've never signed up. Like, okay, you know, you don't have to worry about how your house looks. Yeah, we do. We have to worry about how our house looks. We have to worry about keeping, you know, like, does my partner have to take the kids out of the house while the ladies are there? It's just climbing up a hill and there's no reason for it. Don't do it and don't feel guilty about it. Then there's like the next season, you know, your kids are older, but I know so many people that are into travel ball or, you know, like going to dance competitions or cheerleading meets and all these kinds of things. You're not going to be living the same life, because when you, like, your summers are traveling, you're in travel ball. Your weeks, your weekends are kind of, it's kid centric. You've made a choice, and that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing for your kid, and it's, you know, can be a great thing for your family if you're all like on board and you're like having the deal. But that's not a season to be taking on extra things. And then you got to get creative with like how you're going to feed your family, how you're going to keep your house in order, how you're going to keep your life straight. So you have to be very gracious with yourself during that season and recognize that, you know, you're putting your energy into this next generation very, very pointedly, and a lot of other things have to go. So, you know, the guilt, like you don't see your friends as much. Well, your friends have to become the other travel families, don't they? Because honestly, you're just not going to have the time. And everything is energy. So we have to just release our thoughts and feelings around having to be everything, to please everyone, to fill everybody's cup, to check all the little boxes. I volunteered at school. I volunteered in the nursery. If you have infants, I don't want you in the nursery. I want you in church. If that's where you're trying to give yourself an hour and a half without the children. When you're in a different stage and you want to go and serve in the nursery for the others that have the little babies, you do it. It's recognizing where you are, right? And then when you start getting to the point where the kids are about to leave the house, Now you have to deal with, one, maybe the emotions around, you've been pouring all of your energy into this one area in life, and now it's all going to shift. And what are you going to do? Well, all those things that you were not able to do, now is a time, before they leave the house, I would start the process of building new relationships, new community. What is it that you want to do? What have you been waiting to do? Like, I always wanted to learn pottery, but I just never had the time. Well, now's a good time to start taking a class. If you want to volunteer, if you want to, now would be the good time to volunteer in the nursery, if you're going to do that. Or, whatever it is that makes you happy. Learn how to, speak another language, or take an art class, or go back and get a degree, or just the sky's the limit. When you get to a point, you're going into that next phase. Now you still have purpose. You still have so much life, and you have the bandwidth. Now you can host the parties at your house. Now you can, foster those friendships that, are acquaintances on the outside. Now you have time to bring them in closer. It's recognizing where you are, leaning into that, not feeling guilt, not feeling shame because you can't be all things to all people. And don't allow someone else to put that on you. Recognize your season, be where it is, because it will change. Let one of the older ones just tell you, the seasons do change. It creeps by very quickly. You think in the moment it's not going to, like you're forever going to be the whatever mom or the that. It won't stay that way. And it'll be an adventure. If you lean into it, it'll be an adventure. It's like, I'll get to that. I'll have plenty of time for that. Just love the season you're in, embrace it, and get creative about how to make it smooth and easy for yourself. Because, you're raising little humans. And hopefully if you're in relationship, you're also fostering that relationship, because when those kids leave, hopefully you're going to look over and still want that person to be there with you, So get really creative about how you can stay connected to your partner in that season too. All right, well, this is not really my podcast. I'll call it a video. But I'm going to work out these details, and it's going to start getting regular once the details are worked out. Until then, love me and my inconsistency. Mwah.